Hey future aviators, how do you become a pilot and how do you choose a flight school that's right for you? Stay tuned to find out and watch until the end because 4 lucky winners will get a free intro flight thanks to these flight schools.
We are about to stall,
and this is our adventures in and around South Africa.
Welcome to the About to Stall learning channel, dedicated to sharing our aviation learning moments and my progress as a student pilot. When starting your journey to become a pilot, the first and one of the most important decisions to make is choosing the right flight school for you. This decision can make or break your training experience, so I decided to investigate and chat to some flight schools and flight instructors and share the best tips to help you make the best decision. But before we do that, I'm briefly going over the steps that you will follow when becoming a pilot. The second step will be doing your aviation medical. The next video will go into what that's all about, so please consider subscribing and hit the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when that video is released. Once you've done your medical, your flight school will then help you to apply for an SPL or a student pilot license. Once you have received your SPL, you can start studying for the theory exams. You need to pass all 8. After about 10 hours, or when your flight instructor deems you ready for it, you'll go for your very first solo flight. And at about 45 hours, depending on your progress, you'll go for a check ride, and once you've passed this check ride, you'll officially be a pilot. But before any of that can start, you need to choose the correct flight school. So the key points we'll look at is cost, location, instructor, aircraft, and the student environment.
Hi, my name is Carl Hellman. I'm from Aviation Adventures Flight School. First of all, I will look at the goal, what type of flying you want to do in the future. It's either bush flying, charter flying, airlines. And from there on, if you want to buy a plane after your training, then I will decide which plane we're going to use. Either like the low wing we have here at the back, or high wing, or even a smaller light sport plane. That will also depends on your criteria of flying.
Okay, welcome. My name is Warren Jones. I'm the Grade 2 flight instructor at a few flight schools in Johannesburg. So the biggest thing when choosing a flight school is you want to always make sure that it is in with your pocket or your cash, and you don't want to overextend yourself. A lot of flight schools though around Johannesburg are plus minus more or less the same when it comes to costing. It varies from aircraft to aircraft. If you fly the smaller aircraft, your pricing is a lot less regarding 2-seaters. You go up to a 4-seater Cessna or a Piper Cherokee, it gets slightly more expensive. You do then advanced flying, and that gets even a bit more expensive. So it all just varies. The best way I would say is look at a flight school regarding pricing is very, very important, but as well as the atmosphere when you walk into a flight school. You want to feel comfortable. You don't want to feel as if you're just a wallet walking in.
So with that said, the cost as of the making of this video varies between 100 and 140,000 Rand or $6,000 to $8,000, calculated on the minimum required hours being 45. However, the average student completes his license in about 60 to 80 hours, so it will be more expensive. When considering location, there's a few things you need to look at.
If the location, if you want to have more busy airport, that will mean more money because your waiting time to get stick time in the air will be much more. We are fortunate in this area, we're in an Nelspruit area. It's very quiet, there's a lot of training going on, but our training area is 6 minutes away and our busy airport's about 15 minutes away. So we have the best of both worlds.
A lot of people drive all the way an hour and a half sometimes to go to a flight school which they enjoy. There's nothing wrong, but it can get old very fast. So it is always advisable to choose a flight school that you're comfortable traveling to even if you are wanting to travel for 45 minutes to an hour, you must make sure that it's worth it.
The location is a very important aspect of flying. That will also depend on how much money you're going to spend on waiting, or do you want to spend money on the flying.
What he means here is that at bigger or busier airports, you need to wait for clearances and other traffic in the airspace, costing you time on the Hobbs meter, meaning more money. And training areas further away from the airfield will have the same effect. So be sure to ask your flight school about it. Keep in mind though that training at bigger and controlled airports will get you comfortable talking to ATC much quicker. Getting along with your instructor also plays a huge role in how well you learn and how much you'll enjoy your training. So here's a few tips.
Look at your instructors. Go to the school, meet the people that's operating at the school, speak to them, see if you're going to connect with your instructor and the management team.
A lot of people who are given instructors are given an instructor which would suit their type of personality. If you are with an instructor and you guys don't click, never ever feel as if you can't say, listen, I need a new instructor. But again, that all comes down to when you go to the flight school for your introduction flight.
Speaking about intro flights, it's a great way to get a feel for your instructor and whether you'll get along. So how do you get an intro flight and what should you look for?
Yeah, so when you go to a flight school, insist on an intro flight. It's anything from half an hour to an hour. The instructor's going to show you how the plane works. He's going to show you the area around the airport and the training area. And that will give you a good insight of what the training is going to be all about.
So just remember that when you do the introduction flight, you don't have to do only one flight. You can go to a couple of schools, go to a few of them, do a few intro flights. It's always advisable to do an intro flight with a school that has a Cessna, do an intro flight with a school that has a Piper, even a Sling. It's nice to find out which aircraft will suit you, which aircraft is nice.
The things you want to be looking for when doing your introduction flight is, one, you want to be comfortable with your instructor, you want to be comfortable with the plane that you decide to fly on, and you want to be comfortable with your general environment. If you're comfortable with all of these, then your training will become a lot easier and you'll be comfortable handling and flying your aircraft. So look out for your comfortability, especially with the aircraft and your instructor, and then you'll have an awesome time training.
Remember, at the end of the video will be the details for the intro flight giveaway.
A pilot's license costs anything, if you're talking about LSA license, anything from 70,000 to, let's say, 140,000 if you do a PPL license. It also depends on the planes that are using. If you use light sport aircraft, obviously it will be cheaper. If you use like the Piper, it will be a little bit more expensive. So that also makes a big difference in flight training.
And in regards of aircraft and the state of an aircraft, as a new student or someone who's wanting to learn how to fly, it's very difficult to actually know what to look for when you're looking at an aircraft. But like anything else, when you do your first flight with the instructor, you will be able to see the state of the aircraft inside, the cleanliness of the aircraft, and as well as you'll be able to find out if you're able to gel with that instructor or not.
Why would you use a more expensive plane like the Archer over an LSA like a Sling? For the only mere fact it's got more systems to get used to, especially if you go for, I would say airlines, well, more like career flying. It will be the perfect plane to start off learning on it, to get used to that systems. And then when you upgrade from the Piper to a little bit more advanced like a Twin, all the basic checks and everything is already like a second nature to you. Another thing to consider is the student classroom environment. You can either go in the like group training, group class, where you're like 10 to 20 students in a classroom, or you can go one-on-one with the instructor. One-on-one training is very good classroom. If you battle in a group situation, just insist and ask the instructor for one-on-one classes.
You must feel as if you're part of the family. That's a very big thing in my mind. If you're more comfortable and you can enjoy the environment you're in, you learn a hell of a lot better and you learn a lot more.
Okay, just some tips for students that's starting out. Consider the time span you're going to study. It can be anything from 3 months to a year, depends on your availability, but try to start early in the winter months. That will provide perfect weather to complete your license.
And then the nice thing about aviation is not everyone does it. If it was easy, I'm sure everyone would. It's a very nice industry to be in. It's very relaxed. It's when you are flying and you're up there, it's a completely different world to be in. Very relaxing. All your troubles on the ground kind of seems very, very far away, which is nice. And it is, you know, there's no better career, I believe, than aviation. You don't have to sit in an office at all. Your office is in the sky, it's flying around, you're always moving, you're seeing new places, meeting new people. And that's what aviation's all about, seeing new places, meeting new people, and just being a better person.
Many people have asked whether you need any specific subjects at school. And the short answer is no.
So there's two ways you can look at this. A private pilot license is a recreational license, which means you can fly around for the fun, not reward, so you cannot receive money for it. And that I would not look into any subjects in school, as it is just recreational flying. With that said, if someone is going to do their commercial license and go up into a professional aviation career, it is advisable to take maths, science and geography at school. The equations and the way the equations are set out are very similar in how we do it through our career in aviation, and then it is eligible for you to be able to do those subjects in school.
That's all for this video. Thanks for joining. I hope you all learned something and now know how to choose the correct flight school. To help you get started with your journey to become a pilot, we've partnered with some of the best flight schools in South Africa. 4 of you will win free intro flights and merchandise thanks to Johannesburg Flying Academy in Gauteng, Border Aviation in the Eastern Cape, Aviation Adventure Flights Academy in Mpumalanga, and Westline Aviation in Bloemfontein. All you need to do to enter is follow the link in the description and share this video with your friends. Subscribe to this YouTube channel and follow our, as well as each of the flight school's social media for extra entries into the giveaway. In the next video, I'll take you along as I do my aviation medical to show you what it's about and what to expect. So please consider subscribing and hit the notification bell to be notified when that video is released. Until then, dream big, fly high and live the adventure. This decision.
Dan vertel ek hierdie vliegtuig, dan kom hulle nou hier net vir die vliegtuig. Ja, dis so. Dan is hulle nou klaar en dan soek hulle so 'n vliegtuig by oral.
Hello, human performance.
Thanks.
Ja.